Hey, you guys, it's David here, back with another episode, another podcast. With again, we have Phuong and Regan back on the show. And last time
Hi guys.
we talked about, of course, their relationship, how they met, and a little bit about how it is to live as an interable couple. So this time around, we're gonna talk a little bit about their daily lives, how they go about their day, um, any like difficult situations and how they cope with it, and anything else that comes to mind. So welcome back, you guys. It's so great to see you both, and I look forward to speaking with you again and really getting to know what you guys do. So feel free to start.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be back.
Thank you for having us again.
Also, yeah, I'm grateful as well. So to begin the podcast, I was just wondering, what is your daily routine like? Do you guys have any particular like rituals you guys follow, that you guys kind of begin your day in
Well,
general?
not really rituals, but it depends on the types of days. Like we both have our work schedules uh, pretty much in sync at the moment. We both have weekends off together, and most of the time I'll let her sleep in. So when I wake up early, it's not too early, like 9 o'clock in the morning. But I usually just make myself some breakfast or go do some yard work or clean up the house a little bit. And I come in and wake her up later on when she's actually well rested, and then
Yeah.
we'll just go from there, depending on what we have planned for the day, or if we don't have any plans at all. Like kind of like today,
Yeah.
we didn't really have plans today, but we just went out just to go out and enjoyed the sun that we had until it started raining again.
Oh yeah, I feel you. Like I mentioned earlier, we went through today here in Florida. We had tropical storm Elsa. I wouldn't really name it a storm as much because we barely got any rain and any wind. It's more like a hey, let's overhype the storm. It's coming. It's gonna attack us, and nothing happened. So it's like you know, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like we were in the middle of Frozen 3 and nothing happened. And it's like, man, I wasted $12 waiting for this to happen. It was so overhyped. People were like, oh, it's a storm. You know, it's the earliest that we've got hit pretty much like in years. So people were like, let's go through it. And well, nothing happened. So we just moved on. Anyways, so as far as like your daily routines, do you I know with Fong and I know we both have cerebral palsy. I know sometimes like when I get up in the morning, I deal with a lot of like aches and pains from like, from moving throughout the day or like in general. Um, is there like a particular way that kind of Regan goes about that? Like it gives you like a massage in the certain areas that you feel pain, or do you have like medication that you kind of helps you? Because I usually take medication that helps me because I don't really have access to like a massage or anything like that.
So I guess I've been quite lucky that I haven't really experienced much pain with my cerebral palsy and stuff like that growing up. But lately, as you get older, you can kind of feel like things progress a little bit. Like I've noticed my muscle is a little tighter than it used to be, which I think it might be because of age or maybe because of COVID that we hasn't gone out for like an entire year. It's just very confined, the past year and things like that. Because I used to exercise more. We used to go out like twice a week just to walk around just to get those cardios in. But lately, for like the past year, we haven't really done too much. I do little things here and there around the house, but other than that, not like severe pain. Sometimes if I do work out a little bit, I'll get sore, but he'll help me, massages and help me with stretches. But regarding like um, severe pains or anything, I've been really lucky to haven't gotten any.
That is awesome. And then, uh, is it difficult for you to get in the car? And how do you help her out in that situation, Regan? Do you kind of let her try and get in the car herself, or do you kind of wait till she asks you for help, or how does
Well,
that work? as far as like
It's become like
transportation wise?
even when we first started dating, I didn't know how to help her in the car, or if she needed help in the car when we first went out, when I picked her up from her mom's house. But ever since then, it's just been the same thing over and over. I would open the door all the way, stand by the doorway for her to kind of park her walker next to the car and turn around and start to sit down. I would just hold her hands just for support as she slowly descends into the seat. Other than that, it's been the same. Her legs don't really bend, so she kind of has like a straight leg as she twists into the seat. So I have a couple scuff marks on my dashboard because of it, but not a big deal. You know, a car's a car, but other than that, it's been the same ever since day one, and nothing really has changed. Or she hasn't asked me for more help or to let her do it herself. It's been it's been pretty much uh, same thing over and over. So it's not very difficult, and it's not even annoying either. Except for the times that it's raining, then I'm just like, come on, let's go, let's go.
I feel you. I feel you. It has to be certain instances. It has to be difficult, but it seems like you have it pat down. Um, was it difficult for you at first to kind of adjust to dating Fong and just meeting her and kind of getting used to kind of learning about her disability and how to help her, and just kind of establishing what kind of needs you to address that she needs help with?
Well, I asked her periodically like what she has difficulties with, and to better understand what exactly she has. But adjusting to it didn't really have much to adjust to, other than her balance. Uh, she talks like a normal person. She eats like a normal person. The only thing that she has different is her balance, and that's all I really saw it with. And I just made sure that wherever she walked was accessible enough for her to do, and that's the only adjustment I had to make, was to be more aware of my path that I walk on, because I walk stairs, I go up escalators, and uh, I can go around lawns and curbs and all that, but she can't. So that's the only real adjustment I had to make, and it really wasn't much of an adjustment.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. That's where the advocacy comes in. Like I know, Fong, you mentioned you're an advocate yourself, so I'm pretty sure that when you're out in public, if you need help or if someone kind of questions you about your CP, you tend to just advocate for yourself as well as you can. And I know that sometimes, as adults, we deal with those situations where we have adults that kind of treat us very differently.
Like
Like, I,
children.
yeah, like I've had adults that come up to me and they'll treat me like a kid, even though I got like a full
Yeah.
grown beard sometimes, and
Yeah.
I got the ID, and like I could even have like a Corona next to me, like a alcoholic beverage, and they still think I'm a kid, and I'm like, you know, it's so it's something else how society treats us. And I'm pretty sure when you're out in like a restaurant or like a movie theater, I'm pretty sure Regan gets kind of like frazzled at the fact that people kind of ask those questions. But I'm pretty sure you're like the first one that opens up and says, hey, it's my CP, and I understand you want to treat me differently, but you kind of go about explaining it as best as you can to an adult or a child, because I have two different modes. Like with an adult, it's different. I kind of address them like an adult, but with a kid, I try to break down to where they understand it the most. So, with that being said, how do you cope in that situation where people come up to you and they question you guys about certain things? And then what's the most like what's the craziest, like outrageous, like question besides the one that we always get asked, which I'm not going to really mention on here, um that you've kind of encountered with a person?
So we haven't really had any one question our relationship when we're out together, but some of the really funniest situation we run into is they sometimes like think that Regan might be like a guardian or even like a parent of mine. Like we got questioned a couple of times just because I'm very small and when you wear a mask or like a big hoodies or something, you look smaller. So we went to the doctor like a couple of times just to get like some checkup when Regan did back in December. And I was there with him in the waiting room, but then the nurse wanted me to go outside or wait in the car because of COVID. And I respect that. So, we went back. And then later on, she called Regan back into the room for, because it was his turn. And then he asked her, like, oh, can I bring my wife with me? And then she was like, weren't your daughter with you earlier? And he's like, no, that's my wife.
Oh no.
It was a couple instant that way. And then like another instant when we were dating, we are just walking in the grocery store and there was this cop, like really nice guy. And I was just walking, make you remember, minding my own business. And then like he came up to me, he looked at me. He's like, because I didn't have any makeup or anything. So he just looked at me, so he like, do you want a sticker? And he gave me like one of those like badges, and he looked at Regan. He's like, can I give him a sticker? Like, can I give her a sticker? And I was like,
I was
huh.
like, sure, okay.
I was like, I have no idea. But so with instances like that, I'm not even sure if they're questioning our relationship to what we are. Maybe they just think that I'm like younger than I actually am. But other than that, I haven't really had any weird questions regarding our relationship altogether. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then when we got engaged and I was looking for my wedding dress and trying stuff on, and this one lady wasn't anything about my disability either, but she's like, are you old enough to get married? Because you look 16. And I just thought that was really funny, regarding situations like that, but nothing about like people questioning our disability or any negativity as far as I hope that it won't happen ever, but so far it's not something we experience.
Oh yeah, I've had a few of those situations. I've had a situation where I've been approached and given money, and I'm like, why are you giving me money? It's like I just feel sorry for you, and then
Oh
uh,
no.
I'm like, I have a job, so but keep it. You need it more than I do.
Yeah.
Just like I just try to like be nice about it. People are gonna be
Yeah,
like, why
people
are you
sometimes
giving me
like
money?
do that to me, like don't give me free stuff like walking around the mall and the
Oh,
But
kiosk.
sometimes I'm
yeah.
Yeah,
like, hey, thanks,
yeah,
appreciate it. It's just
yeah,
it depends on what it is.
yeah,
Like money, I don't try to take money. Like if they
yeah.
give it to me, I'm like, no, you keep it. You
No.
need it more than I do. Because I tell them I have a job and I can support myself and I don't try to like take money from anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I also have people like trying to pray for me as well, which is like
Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one
awkward,
for
like
real. Like,
stop because I'm trying to go
um,
somewhere, but they just like stop me or it's like, can we pray together? It's like, no.
Yeah,
it's
well,
it's
look at
it's
me.
one of those things where people kind of cross a line. Regan, I know you've been through that where I want to know your reaction to that. Like when they approach her and they ask her, what's your reaction to that? Like, do you feel like it's like crossing the line? Like,
A little bit. I mean, I feel uncomfortable myself because I'm not
yeah,
religious myself, but besides that, I'll just be like, sure, just make it quick, basically.
yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I don't want to be rude and be like, no, back off.
Yeah, they have good intention, but it's just the wrong approach.
Uh,
Yeah, sometimes it is, and sometimes they kind of come with an agenda or they try to push it on you. Like
Yeah,
I've been in a situation where, they've questioned me and they'll be like, "Oh, you have CP." They're like, "It must be because your mom committed something wrong." So
Yeah.
that's why you were born like this. And they said that to me to my face one time, and I looked at them like, what are
Good.
you
That's
talking about?
cool.
Like, really? Like, how dare you? And I'm like, just move on. Just
Mhm.
I just walk away. I don't even question it. I try not to argue because I know it's going to start something. So
Mhm.
sometimes in those situations where it gets escalated, I just walk away. You
Yeah.
know, but it's
Like the
crazy, right? How society kind of sees CP in a way and how people react to it. Like, I get kids. Kids are kids. They're gonna ask questions.
yeah.
They're cool. They're learning. They're curious. So I don't mind if they ask questions. But when you're an adult, it's like you're kind of expected to kind of know a little bit about boundaries and
Yeah.
the crossing the line and stuff. But hey, everybody's different. That's why we as individuals advocate.
Yeah. We talk about
Regan
it.
advocates, you advocate, I advocate, and that's what we're here for. And then that's why, as far as like what I mentioned earlier, daily living, that's one of those things where advocacy is so important, because if you don't speak up, then how are you going to help one another? How are you going to help your neighbor? How are you going to help the people around you, especially those that have disabilities? Um, then what kind of, as far as like advice do you have for those that are in the situation that you guys are in, as far as like, your daily routines and what you guys do, and how you approach disability on a general spectrum?
Well, for me, when I've never dated anybody with a disability before her, and she became my last date before we got married. So
Good, good,
uh,
good one. I love that. I love that.
I wouldn't
That's
say
great.
it was a difficult choice for me to marry her. It wasn't really a sacrifice in my own life choices or my
Good.
life goals to even consider marrying her. It was just like any other choice I've had to make in my life. Do I see myself happy? Yes. Do I see myself struggling? Not so much. As long as I'm willing to work hard and willing to um, make compromise, I'm able to do anything that I want, and that's what I've been able to accomplish with her. Even within our last 4 years of being together, our last 2 years of being married, I've grown more as an individual, and I've seen how great I've made the right choice.
I mean, I would definitely agree with you on that for sure. I feel like there are vast differences in between uh, dating someone with a disability and dating somebody able-bodied. I feel like when you're dating somebody with a physical disability, we tend to be more out there. Like we want to work, we want to make things work, and we work together, and we have different ways of approaching situations and helping each other out. And it's always a constant challenge, but it's not a challenge that's impossible. It's a challenge that you're able to overcome. You're able to overcome hurdles differently. And then I feel like that we tend to talk things out more. Like, I know every couple goes through fighting and arguing and things like that. But when it comes to those to us, I feel like we Regan over here is, oh, he's got a reaction here. But I mean, we're different. It's different. I'm pretty sure you guys
Mhm.
go through the typical, fighting and arguing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like it all comes together. There's more fluidity and more of the communicative approach. And then you have the typical relationship of two able-bodied individuals where, they're happy, but then there's obstacles, then they fight, and then there's no, I feel like there is some reason to communication, but sometimes they just walk away. Don't want to talk to them, don't want to deal with them. You go somewhere else. It's like you're in a way we're almost forced to kind of communicate things out because let's face it, Fong, you and I have CP.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be able to run out the door if we argue. Like we won't be able to like leave to the next like town or hotel. I feel like we
Okay.
fight. You know, like we're not fast enough to leave out the door. So we have the skill of communication. So we kind of
Yeah.
try to talk things out. So I feel like, I mean, that's my 2 cents. That's how I feel about it. I don't know about you guys, how you guys deal with that or with that in general. I mean, do you guys like talking out mostly?
Yeah, we
Like,
do.
you guys have disagreements like on things in
Oh, of
general?
course.
Yeah, that's normal for every couple,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. I just thought of that ironically how we can't really run out the house. It's like there's
Yeah.
no way.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there opening the door for her, but like, okay, it's fine. Come
You
back
can go
in.
walk over it. Yeah. So, um, anyways, it's been an interesting podcast. Like we've covered a lot of stuff. Do you guys have anything else that you guys like to mention? Any any other topics you guys want to talk about, or are you guys okay with everything that we kind of discussed?
Yeah, we've been good. It's just the only thing that I just kind of want to put out there. It's just like, don't be afraid to try, you know? Like with Regan, he was talking about wanting to marry me and things like that, which I felt a little bit different in the beginning because mostly, like, you know how sometimes we kind of feel insecure regarding certain things and we like don't want to try new things. Like dating is one thing, but I've never seen myself getting married. And when he proposed to me like literally 1 month after dating, I'm just like, uh, I don't, I don't want to right now, by chance. But as we progress, I kind of do. But at the same time, I'm still a little skeptical, to say the
Yeah.
least.
But from what it seems, it seems like you guys are doing really well, and you guys have it down pat as far as communication and kind of letting each other know your dislikes and your likes, and just getting about life. And you guys, from what I'm seeing, like from like every time I see you guys, it's there's that love, there's that connection. You guys really care about each other, and I see it every day, like with you guys, and it's awesome.
Thank
It's
you.
really awesome. And what you guys are doing right now, as far as like getting yourself out there, as far as sharing your journey and your story, it's really motivating and inspiring so many people right now. Like I'm pretty sure you guys get messages some days where people want you on their show and people want you to do this and people want you to do that. And you're
That's
like, we're always so busy, right? Do you get a lot of that now since
A
you've
little bit. Like I try to, because we've been quite busy with a lot of stuff. Like we just, we purchased a house not too long ago last year. We're trying to
oh,
get
congratulations.
together and being off just 2 days out of the week because with our work schedule, we make sure that everything's clean, chores and all of that. So sometimes it's just kind of hard to make time with friends and family living pretty far away now. We're trying to see them as well as everybody else. It's just a little bit difficult.
Yeah, that's great. And as far as Regan, I hope one day where when I decide to start traveling again and things get better, I hope I get to meet you guys in person
of
Yeah.
and
course.
then enjoy some of Regan's delicious food, which I always see
Oh
on
yeah.
his Instagram. I'm like, I gotta try all this. This stuff looks good. You
He's
know,
amazing. Good.
what's your best dish that you like to make?
Oh, I don't know about best, but I do like making a lot of steaks and pastas.
Steak. You're my kind of guy. I like steak. Yeah, I've always been a steak guy. Like as far as like meats and stuff. I mean, I think it's a typical thing. When you're craving something, you crave steak and lobster, which and sadly I don't have the budget for, but when I get the chance, I'll go eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always so wonderful to hear your guys' side of everything and your story and your journey. And I'm always glad to have crossed paths with you guys. I mean, it was so funny how we crossed paths. I think it was it was it Fong that followed me first, or was it you that followed me and then you found out more about me and then
I don't
I
remember.
don't
I
remember.
remember you were messaged. I think we follow each other because I
Yeah,
think
and then I
we
reached out
had
to you and I
to.
read your story. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we were. I joined a Cerebral Palsy adult group on Facebook because somebody from that group reached out to me, like the sweetest girl, and she told me about that group, and I kind of joined, and then I start talking about my page and things like that. So people start following me on Instagram, and I think you were one of them, but I don't really like notice many things because I just post. So I'm not very good on responding to messages, but I think you messaged me and asked if we want to join the podcast. Like, yeah, that would be great. So I think that was the first time we interact.
That is yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. I'm glad I was able to kind of reach out to you guys, and I hope to see more of you guys in the future and see where you progress. And I hope we end up meeting in person someday, rather than virtually, which I feel like we're getting closer day by day as things kind of die down and things kind of get better. I mean, hopefully we'll be able to kind of reach that normalcy that we were once before, but we'll see. We'll see how things go. Anyways, I appreciate you guys from being on. Um, you can find Fong on her Instagram. What is your Instagram handle, Fong? Can you share that
Mine
with us?
is wifey underscore on underscore wheels because I have the walker, so technically it's two wheels, but
Awesome, and I'll definitely share that with the audience, of course, and on the podcast, and I'll post this on YouTube as well. Um, and 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 I always remember one of the things that I've learned is you have to take the time to know someone before you judge them. And
exactly.
this is one of those things is I've learned so much just listening to you guys and having you guys on the show, and it brings up a whole different perspective on how we should see things, you know, how we should see ourselves, how we should see relationships, how we should advocate for each other and love each other regardless of what challenges we face in our lives. So I definitely commend you guys on that. And I wish you all the best as far as your future and your journey. And definitely we'll keep in touch. And you can find this podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and any other major podcasting outlets out there. And thank you, Fong and Regan, for being on. I really appreciate you guys.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thanks
And
for having us.
remember, if I can do it, so can you.
Exactly.
That's right.